Yo, what's going on, guys? Going to be going over today's trade recap, or not trade recap, just market recap, because I ended up taking zero trades today. I'm going over why I didn't end up taking anything and what setups presented itself that I kind of liked but decided to fade. So coming into today, clear enough in my opinion was the bullish bias was kind of showing to be a lot stronger. Reason being is because if we look at the higher time frame, what we are delivering off of overall, I guess we are still in all-time high conditions. We are delivering off of a daily key level. We do have this daily rejection wick as of right here, which we have come and tested the CE of, I'm pretty sure, and rejected off of that and made a move higher. And overall, the bullish market structure on the lower time frame was looking just more bullish, especially to previous day high being New York PM session highs right. Can I please move? Thank you. Right here. Coming into market, we had a 30-minute fair value gap opening here, and we were also delivering, I'm pretty sure, from a separate 30-minute gap. Yeah, so it's 30-minute gap down here, delivering off of it, and we were also opened up a 30-minute gap at market open right here. Now, what I was looking for coming into the session was pretty simple. Just for some clean structure to kind of generate itself, and then for us to get manipulation lower into this gap and then potentially target draws higher. That was looking pretty nice to me. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I was really looking at. Didn't really see anything for shorts kind of going unless we were to burn completely through this gap and it's kind of going to be like a falling knife kind of day. So yeah, New York session ends up opening lower here, and then we get presented with a 30-second model. I think was right here, but at this point I wasn't even really looking. I wasn't even really considering this 30-second because of just the targets weren't the best. I mean, we did have some good trendline liquidity here, but overall the lower time frame trend as of like this current moment was looking slightly more bearish, and it just taking a 30-second off of like the market opens manipulation is just kind of sketch to me, and I would never really take it. Like if we got like a second candle, I think I was also looking at ES at this time, and ES had a 1 minute gap which it had yet to even go into, so I was definitely a bit meh. Wasn't even like looking at this 30-second that we had within this leg of price as something I'd even consider taking, unless we had actual strong displacing candles like a 1 minute CISD, for example, like right here could have potentially been something pretty nice, and then target the high. Could have been something that I definitely would have been willing to take. But yeah, as you can see, we definitely did not get that, and we ended up just bleeding lower further, and this setup here gets absolutely railed. And then this is when we get our first continuation of the day, which I think was right here. So we had this 5 minute fair value gap, which ended up presenting itself, and at this current moment, this was 950. So at 950, we were still respecting this 30-minute gap, and we also came into this more this more discounted 30-minute gap. And overall, I'm not going to lie to you, I did like this setup. Reason simply being was because we just were actively disrespecting the range that we were in. We already had disrespected as we took out this internal low right here, so now we're dealing with the higher time frame range, which we were still kind of actively disrespecting. And then if we look at this lower time frame 5 minute range that we had going on, we come up inside of this 5 minute for value gap right here. Yeah, and like that's the thing, like I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of this because we also did inverse this first 5 minute for value gap. Now, even though this 5 minute for value gap was in a discount, it is something that we could have ended up building bullish structure off of to continue higher, especially with this range that we're dealing with right now. We came into a very deep discount of this range and then ended up inversing the 5 minute gap, so that is showing strong signs of potential bullish price action to never present itself. But then we came into this 5 minute gap inside of a premium, and the range was telling us lower. So instantly, the second we came into that gap, this was also, yeah, I just wasn't a fan because it was just 2 minutes until 10 a.m. opened as well. I didn't want to risk getting manipulated out. But range trading wise, this setup did make a lot of sense. This was sort of an if this then that scenario with the lower time frame range inside of a 5 minute overall beating, showing signs of beating the higher time frame discount range, being this right here. And so overall, like, this trade definitely made sense to take, but I felt like the reason why I didn't take this was simply just because there was more wrong with it than there was right. The thing being wrong with it was that we were delivering off of a discount instead of a higher time frame range, and we just disrespected the first discounted gap in the new range here, this lower time frame range being the 5 minute. So overall, I was sort of thinking, especially with 2 minutes to 10 a.m., this could be the start of a bullish move. We don't really have much reasoning to move lower here, except for what the market is telling us in the moment. So yeah, this trade ends up 10 a.m. opens here, and 10 a.m. candle just shoots down and ends up delivering this trade to full take profit. By the tick actually, which is pretty cool. And then that's going to go into the setup that we ended up having, which I would have taken this setup, but the thing is I had like a dentist appointment in 10 minutes, so I just got off the charts and went to the dentist appointment. And overall, this setup wasn't really too much, wasn't really appealing to me too much. I'm not gonna lie, but I think it was decent that I would have probably gave this a stab. I know Ronan did end up taking this. A lot of people ended up taking this and actually losing today, and let's go over it. So here we have just a resweep of the low inside of this gap, and we have an internal SMT here. But the thing I don't like about this is just simply going off what we've been doing. This is like what I don't like about this is what the market's been telling us like this entire time. Like we came into this 30-minute for value gap, we wicked C, we wicked 0.705 over the range, so golden pocket, OTE, discounted gap. There's literally no reason on earth for us to resweep this low. Um, there just isn't. Like we should not be resweeping this low. That we SMT'd. We should not be doing that. Especially not that we just inverse the gap in a discount, as we can see here. This 5 minute, we inverse this gap. This should be the start of a new move higher, right? So we inverse this gap, delivering from a discount instead of a higher time frame range. From here, you should expect us to start making moves higher, not resweeping. Like it wasn't even like it was more looked at like this kind of looked like a target to me at this point because we came into this premium 5 minute gap inside of this bearish range and we just shit the bed, which is showing that this small range is outbeating the higher time frame reason. Which is why I just didn't really like this. That could have sounded like a lot of yap, but I'm just starting to understand a lot more things like as I'm looking at the charts. It just there was a lot wrong with this setup in my opinion as well, but I do think it was kind of worth a stab. But I'm not going to lie to you. I low key think, in my opinion, that this 1 minute was a better trade. Actually, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Just because this is with the higher time frame trend. So plus points for it being with the higher time frame trend, negative points for it kind of being against the lower time frame trend. Well, it was kind of with it as well, I guess, but just not really. I wasn't a huge fan of this setup, but I did like it enough to where I probably would have taken a stab at it. Because we do have that stop hunt inside that gap with the SMT and the resweep and the better structure and the higher time frame bullish bias. So yeah, this setup does, if you did not go break even when you probably should have, this setup. So as you can see here, look, we have this like small little shitty retrace, and then we get this strong CISD upwards. And I know this is where Ronan ended up going break even on this trade right here. And his reasoning for it was definitely valid, and I think I'm not going to be a hindsight warrior and say I would have done the same, but I most likely would have done the same because I do like this reasoning. And so we kind of have like a little accumulation zone here. We kind of make a low here, and then we displace higher, and within this small little 1 minute range that we have, we displace higher, and then we CISD here. At this point now, you should be pretty confident that we should not return to these lows, and we should just end up taking out this high here and going into this 15-minute fair value gap, which we had marked out above us. I think was a target for this. Yeah. So there we had a good target too, being the 15-minute unfilled with liquidity leading up to it. I think this is a pretty valid break even. I'm not sure if I would have went break even here myself, but I definitely would have not likened to see price return to this area. This CISD should have been definitely what took us higher. It also inverts the final 1 minute gap within this lag of price as well. So this definitely should have been the candle that would have started the move for us to continue going higher here. But as we can see, we end up failing that, and then we end up respecting this 1 minute gap here. We end up just moving lower, and that trade ends up failing completely. So I mean, honestly, today's price action pretty shitty in my opinion. Not really good price action. It was sort of an if this then that scenario, but I decided to not act on that if this then that scenario right here, just because I felt like there was a lot more things wrong with this trade than there actually was. But I am going to be journaling this because this is a clean range trade. So yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Honestly, I mean, I'm low-key sitting here thinking because I kind of think that this 1 minute for some reason is better than this 3 minute, just because of how we were moving inside the range. But either way, I think both of these trades are fine if you ended up taking either of them, even if you lost on that 3 minute. that's completely fine. Honestly, I think both trades are pretty reasonable, but for me, I decided to stay out of them today just because I wasn't a fan of what we were doing within this higher time frame range that we had going on. From here to here, I wasn't a huge fan. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments below. If you guys ended up taking anything today, also leave that in the comments below. Always interested to hear what other people are taking. If you took a loss, W break even today, um, leave it down below. And if you want to talk to me personally, I'm going to have my Instagram, Discord, and TikTok in the bio of this video. If you want to go and give those a follow or give me a message on any of those platforms, I will 100% respond as long as it's something got to do with trading. And yeah, I'm going to be documenting my entire journey to profitability, showing how my knowledge expands as a trader and how I grow as a person on this channel throughout the next following years of my life. And I'm excited for the future of this channel and to take you guys along the road with me. So except for that, I will catch you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your evening and have a good day. But except for that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.